They did not cut off their family because they stopped loving them. They cut them off because they finally started loving themselves. If you have ever been called selfish, cold, and ungrateful for choosing distance over dysfunction, then you need to hear the real psychology behind this decision. Picture this for a second. You are 28 years old. You are sitting in your car parked right outside your parents' house for a holiday dinner. Everyone inside is laughing. You can see the lights through the window, but you cannot make your hand open the door. Your heart is racing. Your chest feels tight. Your stomach is in knots. You want to go inside and be part of the family, but every cell in your body is screaming at you to drive away. That feeling is not you being dramatic. That is not you being disrespectful. That is years of lived experience speaking louder than blood. Most people think that cutting off family happens after one huge fight, one terrible betrayal, one unforgivable moment, but psychology shows us that is almost never true. People who go no contact do not do it because of one big explosion. They do it because of 1,000 small paper cuts that never healed. It is the constant criticism disguised as love. It is the jokes that were never really jokes. It is the apologies that never came. It is the love that always had conditions attached to it. Your brain can forgive one deep wound, but it cannot survive death by 1,000 cuts. And one day, your mind finally keeps score and says enough. To understand this, you have to understand how family systems work. Every family has roles, and once you are given a role as a child, you are expected to play it forever. There is the golden child who can do no wrong. There is the caretaker who has to fix everyone else's emotions. And there is the scapegoat, the sensitive one, the one who feels too much, the one who questions too much. The scapegoat is often the most honest person in the family because they refuse to pretend that everything is okay. And families that run on dysfunction cannot handle honesty, so they punish the honest one. They call them the problem. They say you are too sensitive. You are ruining the family. The truth is that person was never the problem. They were the one who finally saw the problem. And that is why the guilt is so unbearable. From the moment you were born, you were programmed with a belief. Family is everything. Blood is thicker than water. You owe them no matter what they do to you. Guilt in these families is not a natural emotion. It is trained into you. It is a form of emotional conditioning. Every time you tried to set a boundary, you were met with silent treatment or anger or tears until you gave in. So your brain learned that love equals obedience. That to be loved, you have to abandon yourself. So when you finally choose yourself for the first time in your life, it does not feel like freedom. It feels like betrayal. Even though you are not betraying them, you are finally being loyal to yourself. Psychology also tells us about a painful war inside the brain. It is the war between attachment and authenticity. As humans, we are hardwired to attach to our caregivers. It is survival. A child cannot survive without their family. So part of your brain will always crave their love and approval. But another part of you knows that to get that love, you have to pretend. You have to shrink. You have to be someone you are not. Cutting off family is the moment when authenticity finally wins over attachment. It is your brain saying, I would rather be whole and alone than loved and broken. And that is one of the bravest decisions a human can ever make. But here is what no one tells you about going no contact. It does not feel like a victory. It feels like grief, but it is a strange kind of grief. Psychologists call it ambiguous grief. It is grief for someone who is still alive. Your mother is still alive. Your father is still alive. Your sibling is still alive. But the relationship you wished you had with them is dead. And you have to mourn that fantasy. You have to mourn the mother you needed but never had. The father who never protected you. The childhood that should have been safe but was not. And there is no funeral for that. There is no closure. People do not bring you food or say they are sorry for your loss because society does not understand that you can grieve someone who is still breathing. So what happens after? The people who cut off their family do not suddenly become happy and healed. At first they feel numb, then they feel guilty, then they feel angry. Then they feel free, and then guilty again for feeling free. It is a cycle. Healing after estrangement is not about becoming someone new. It is about coming home to who you were before the family told you who you had to be. It starts with small questions. Who am I when no one is criticizing me? What do I like when I am not managing someone else's emotions? What does peace feel like in my body? Over time, something beautiful happens. They start to build what psychology calls a chosen family. Friends who feel like home. partners who love without conditions, mentors who guide without control, and they learn a new definition of family. Family is not just about blood. Family is about safety. Family is about feeling seen and heard and accepted exactly as you are. Family should not be the place where you have to hide your wounds. It should be the place where your wounds can finally heal. So if you have cut off your family or you are thinking about it, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not a bad person. You are not cold. You are not broken. You are a person who tried for a very long time. You tried to communicate. You tried to set boundaries. You tried to love them the best way you knew how. And when nothing changed, you did the only healthy thing left to do. You walked away. Not out of hate, out of self-respect. The goal was never to punish them. The goal was to protect the last little piece of yourself that still knew how to love. If this message spoke to you, you are not alone on this journey. And if you want to understand your own mind more deeply, subscribe to Mental Compass, where we find direction together.